And this is the Colorado Author Interview Circle. And today we are talking with Becky Hodgkins. Now, do you write under Becky or Rebecca?
Rebecca.
Rebecca Hodgkins. So don't Google Becky. Rebecca Hodgkins.
You'll find me.
And we'll at the end we'll show all of your cover and everything. So, okay, so you have just written a Knight Marshall story.
I did.
And it is called This Dance, These Bones.
Yes.
And it is part of a universe that Gary Jonas,
Yes.
he wrote the first story, and then he's having different authors write subsequent stories. And there's 3, right?
There are 3 so far, yes.
And you wrote the second one.
I wrote the 3rd one.
You wrote the 3rd one?
Yes.
Oh. Gotcha.
Right.
Now, did you go, and you read the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
When you're reading them, were you like, dude, I can totally do better than these. These guys suck.
No, it's kind of funny. I was already working on a book that fit very well into that universe, into that genre. And as soon as I heard about the Knight Marshall, I thought, wow, I think this might be a lot of fun to bring my characters in and meet Gary's characters. And it was sort of an organic process. So.
And the genre is, it's a weird Western. It's
weird Western, Western horror, yes.
Urban fantasy, horror, Western.
I wouldn't quite say urban fantasy. It
Urban.
takes place in the 1880s,
And it's no urban.
but there's no.
Rural.
It's there we go.
Rural wilderness. It's wilderness fantasy horror.
Western.
So
it's Western.
how is it taking someone else's character and I guess
Making it better.
your own? Do you feel like a personal connection with it?
I wouldn't say I made him better, but I'd say everybody has a little different take on Jack Talon, who is the main character. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to read Gary's story and to think about how I would take that character and change him and bring out certain facets and get him to work with
Is it
my
a challenge to stay in Gary's original
well,
boundaries
the
of the
parameters were wide open. I actually
Really?
kept asking for more parameters.
Yeah.
I would email him or call him and say, all right, sunlight, can he be in any sunlight at all? He's a vampire. Or does he die instantly? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it was, what do you think? What do you want to
Really?
do? Yeah.
Oh, so you got to come up with your own physics
So I got
for
to,
the
yeah.
that's
I mean,
great.
there were certain things. There were, obviously he's a vampire. He has a horse named Roulette, which I was told must be in the book. That was the
Okay.
only thing that I really had to change.
And you couldn't kill the horse.
And I couldn't. No.
Oh dang!
Not that I would.
I know
kill
that's
a
the
horse.
first
I
thing
would
you wanted
never
to
kill a
do.
horse.
First scene is Roulette dying.
Vampire horse. The vampire's turned.
Right.
The horse is turned.
Right. So, yeah, it was just a lot of fun.
So when you initially started talking about it, did you have the story kind of fleshed out? Did you kind of know what you wanted to do?
I'm a bit of a pantser, and I get scenes in my head. So as soon as I found out about this character, I had the scene of him stalking a group of wolves in the winter in the mountains, and I didn't know why. I didn't know why he was there, but I just sort of followed, and away we went.
So you start with it. We interviewed Catherine Winters, and she kind of said the same thing, where she starts with an image and just builds off of that. And a lot of authors seem to do that. That's cool.
Now, when you wrote it, because you have a great character. It's not you have Nancy Dance Hall.
Nancy Dance.
So we don't no
Yes.
spoiler alert. But she was you're writing.
She's 100% my character, and she was fully fleshed out in my head long before.
Because that's your other project that you're working.
Yes, that's what I'm working on now. This Dance, These Bones isn't exactly canon, but
Close.
close. So I'm working on a follow-up, I guess, a full-length novel. This Dance, These Bones is a novella, and the next one will be a full-fledged novel.
So the difference, I guess I shouldn't say what do you like more, but I always like writing process. I like to learn about the author's writing process. So the difference between writing a novella and writing a full-fledged novel, I mean, which do you prefer? Is the process different?
It's about the same. The novella was a lot of fun. It was really a great length.
Yeah.
Short stories are hard because they're so short.
Yeah.
You have to get a lot
I tend to
across.
avoid short stories. I like short stories. He loves them, yeah.
Well, I don't love them. It's just I really like the exercise of I have a parameter,
Mhm.
and this is the story I have to tell, and so it's very tight, and it
Right.
really helps me practice
Mhm.
all of the basics of writing fiction.
Mhm.
And you can kind of write them up, but you've written short stories.
I've written
You've
short
written,
stories.
and you've gotten them published, and
Mhm.
you've sold
I
some,
have.
you've sold them, and
Yeah, I have. But the difference between, say, a novella and a novel is that it is a lot tighter, it goes a lot faster, and you don't have to, sometimes you feel like you're putting in a lot of filler, but it's just, it's like, comparing it to running, short stories are a sprint,
Yeah.
Novels are your marathon, and the novella is more like a,
10K.
or a mile. You
So,
give it everything, but.
In 5 years, do you
Have
want to
time
have
to
a
extend.
library of novels or a whole bunch of novellas or what? Where do you, where do you see you're going?
Everything.
Well, you wrote your first novel, and you've been shopping that,
Mhm,
and then you wrote the novella, you've had some short stories,
mhm,
then you're writing 2 books now.
mhm.
Now, when we were discussing this before, and we're like, yeah, pantsers or plotters, and Becky, so you're writing on 2 books at the same
I'm
time.
working on 2 books at the same time.
And talk about, dude, tell the story, tell the story.
What story?
So where I don't want to put it in your words, but you're like, okay, I have 2 books to work on, and then you sit down and you really don't know which one you're going to work on.
Right, I don't know which one I'm going to work on.
And before you sit down, it's like you
Right.
hear a song or you have some sort of spark, and you're like, I think I'll work on my Nancy Dance Hall book.
Right.
I think I'll work on.
I'll turn on the radio, or I'll look out the window, or whatever.
Do you
Whichever
think it's
world I
beneficial
fall
to have
into.
multiple projects at one
I
time?
think it is, because
Yeah.
it keeps everything fresh. And with
Yeah,
these 2
you're right.
projects, one of them takes place in modern Denver and turn of the century Denver.
Okay.
It's not a time travel story.
Do you ever get
But-
them like mixed up, like when you're working on one project and another, and
No.
themes and
Well, a lot of
voice?
the,
and...
it's nice because a lot of the research too overlaps, and you have the same feel.
Sure.
Everything
Oh, that's
is
good.
in the West, and you're dealing with
Okay.
Denver.
history and Denver.
Colfax, Costa Bonita. Is Costa Bonita in
Maybe
your
not
list?
Costa Bonita.
Okay, maybe not
No,
Costa
but Colfax definitely is in there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Old Market Street.
Yeah. Ooh.
A lot of history in
Good stuff.
Denver. Good stuff. Yeah.
So where did the character of Nancy? Because really, I think I like the Jack Talon character
Mhm.
because it's that classic kind of vampire with a conscience, right? I mean, this he was kind of this gunslinger, and it's a very homage character to Doc Holliday in Tombstone. It has that kind of similar feel, which is a great character, right? It's a totally different character, but there's a little homage there.
Mhm.
But Nancy Dance Hall, I think, steals the show. So when did you first get that image of kind of this weathered old kind of
Whether old gunslinger
prostitute?
whore.
Yeah, that's right.
She's
Can
a
you say whore on the
she's a-
internet?
Can we say that on the internet? I don't know. All right, we'll be nice. She's an ex-prostitute.
Soiled dove.
A soiled dove,
Dove.
exactly. She's a soiled dove, and now she is dedicated to a greater cause. I don't want to give away too
Yeah,
many
you can't give away
spoilers.
too much because
Right.
it's this big, it's kind of this huge kind of mythology
Yes.
about her and what she's doing.
About good and evil.
Good and evil.
She is definitely on the side of good, but you wouldn't know it at first glance, I
Right.
don't think. So,
Do you think there's true evil in the world?
I do.
You do.
Do you think there's true goodness
I do.
in the world? You do?
That's a harder sell. So do you think there's
But good
like
is
a,
boring.
Yeah.
do you think there's like a satanic, like do you think there's a
Do I
force
think that
for
there is
evil?
a force for evil? I don't.
Like a conscious force?
I don't, even though a lot of my themes, a lot of the things that I write go for, the ultimate evil versus the ultimate good. I don't actually believe that. So,
True evil comes from people making poor decisions.
making poor decisions.
Generally drunk.
I don't know about
But
that.
not always.
Not always.
But not always.
But not always.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor evil.
Yeah, I'm afraid we make our own decisions, we're not.
Right.
There's no like little voice like.
No, there's no little angel.
Well, I
devil
mean, I
on
guess
our
in some
shoulders.
people there's a voice.
It would be way too easy if that were true.
Yeah.
So so favorite Western.
Favorite Western?
Because you're writing Westerns.
Oh, well, it would have to be The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, right?
Oh yeah. You can't get it's so.
Tuco is one of my favorite characters of all time. He's so
Breaking Bad.
My brother, he loves me.
Right.
Oh,
And I would have to say Django Unchained
Django Unchained.
as well. That's an
Django
amazing,
Unchained was great,
amazing
too.
story, amazing movie.
It
So,
really was.
Mhm.
It really was. I still like Jackie Brown better. I still like Jackie Brown. Yeah, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It inspired Stephen King's The Gunslinger, right? He was 19 and he went to see it, and he was kind of up front, and he was just watching it, going, I wanna write stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then
What was Gunslinger published?
The Gunslinger, it was published in like Weird Tales or something, or science fiction and fantasy in like
It had a very,
71 maybe.
Oh,
very
really?
limited publishing, and they would always list it in his books, and of course fans would say, what's that? Where do I get it? Where do I get it? And the publishers would say, oh, we don't have it now. So,
And then the 80s they started.
and finally in the 80s they say, hey, we might actually make money off of this.
That's my favorite
So,
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Is my favorite.
So where can people watching this find your work?
They can find it on Amazon right now. It is an ebook. It will be coming out as a paperback here pretty soon.
Oh, hooray!
You can buy it on its own, or you can buy it bundled
With the other
with
two
the
stories.
with the other two stories. So, whatever.
It's like the Return of the Jedi, but better without Ewoks. It's like gunslinging Ewoks.
I
No,
promise there are
no, it's not. It's not.
There are no Ewoks.
No Ewoks. But gunslingers, guns, bullets,
Guns,
vampires.
bullets,
Oh, good
vampires, evil.
And it starts off great. It starts off with he has this canteen of frozen blood.
Right,
And he's
because-
starving to death.
Right.
It's such a great.
He's starving to death in the high Sierras. It's the middle of winter. There aren't many. He's gone through one mining camp where he played Pharaoh for the blood, and he's sort of on his own. And he had a couple of canteens full of this blood. He's gone through one. The other one, it's just down to the dregs, and what's left is frozen. So he's got
It's
to tear it
incredible.
apart and try to get
It's
his
like
blood.
they can't consume it frozen. They can't like pop it.
Well, they
Oh, he
can,
can.
but it's
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
I mean,
He calls
it's
it,
hard.
He calls it blood jerky.
The blood
Blood
It's
jerky.
good.
Okay.
It's good. It's clever. It's
Yeah.
great. This Dance, These Bones. Rebecca Hodgkins, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
for
Thanks
having
for
us.
having me. Thank you.
This has been the Colorado Author Interview Circle. I'm Aaron Michael Ritchie.
And I'm Cody May.
And thank you very much. Keep reading.